Hare Krishna. Today is 9th July in Shimayapur Dham, and it's Saptami in, uh, in a very cool atmosphere. It's been raining for a few days. So we'll get back to understanding finance and wealth, and we will start today with the concept or the building block of any financial system is money. So a lot of people would assume money is cash, right? That you have, or now you have the digital currency that you see on your online banking. So money is very easily defined as a medium of exchange, right? I give you, let's say, one loaf of bread, and you will, in exchange, give me an amount of money that I have demanded for. Maybe let's say 10 rupees, and that is one way of understanding money. But if you really want to understand what money is, then you have to understand it a little bit more deeper than that. That money actually means value, and value is determined also one by the market means there are people buying and selling that item, that service, or two, you are able to create an extraordinary need, right, or ability to showcase that you can add more value even though the market is at a certain level. So if we understand that money is equivalent to value, you will always understand that money is about increasing your value, right? Now, for a devotee, should be humble, right? Not try to always put ourselves in front. But here, so that would mean that how to create a level of wealth and how to maintain it is to ensure that they're always creating some value, right? So I'll give you an example. Many people take the money that they have and put it in the bank. Okay, the bank values that money and therefore gives you an interest back on it. So if you put it in a normal account which doesn't have much activity, they'll give you a very low percentage. Let's take, for example, 2%. If you put it in a savings, you're indicating to them that I will not remove the money for some time. So they see, okay, we can invest in long term loans that we can give out as a bank, so that has higher value, right? Because the bank doesn't have to return it to you immediately, so they give you a higher rate of interest. So it is about understanding how value is perceived and how we can create value. And this is also very important because this series, or this understanding of whether you should invest in Bitcoin, in land, in real estate, in education, in business, on various types of stocks. We're not going to teach that, right? You have to understand what is your nature, how value can be created, when it can be created, when there is an opportunity for you to take advantage of that, and therefore create that wealth. So, therefore, it's very important to understand for devotees that money is not just paper, it's about understanding value, and that value has to be preserved and nurtured. Otherwise, what's going to happen is that you might create a lot of money, but within one generation or within even the same period of life, you will lose all of it. Karma is a very big element, but we'll not discuss that now. But here, in terms of the actions that you can perform, is understanding how that value can be maintained. Therefore, anyone who wants to generate wealth does not have to be a financial, expert or academic, but they have to have basic financial knowledge in terms of understanding how to preserve wealth, in order to understand how to generate wealth, in order to understand what items destroy wealth. So for a devotee, he understands that, Chaturvarna Maya system, that this system of the different divisions of society have been created. So therefore, work is essential. Yeah, people will work. There will always be economy. There will always be cities and villages, and there will always be trade, right? And there will always be different types of new environments in which business is conducted. So therefore, there will always be opportunities to generate wealth. This is by nature the nature of this. Sorry, this is by default the nature of this environment that we live in the material world. And for devotees, the most important thing is to understand that uh, if you try to rush through this very fast and you're not very patient, then that means that you want to do it very cheaply, and cheaply does not have value. So it just contradicts the understanding of building wealth. Not that it's not possible. Some people are very fortunate, some people are very smart, they are able to generate that wealth very fast. But this is not for everybody in terms of the masses of people, and it is not the sure way of doing things. You might be lucky, doesn't mean second time around you can, copy paste that same application. But the idea here is to understand that building wealth takes time, losing wealth is very fast. So, therefore, you must understand that even if you give anybody your wealth to manage it, they must understand how value works and where the value in the market is. So, therefore, I'll give another example. Bitcoin is very famous. I think right now it's around $30,000 one Bitcoin. Uh, when I became a devotee, I remember Bitcoin was maybe like $50 or $40. There was not much value into it, or at least when I was in Brahmacharya ashram, that was the value at that time. So Bitcoin is working on a decentralized system that is not controlled by any governmental body or any institutional body. And it works based on the public, right? Everybody validates the whole set of transactions that happen between two people. So that protects the integrity of transactions. And because no government can just come and withdraw your funds, freeze your funds, your identity is protected. People value privacy, and because of that value of privacy and that value of nobody can just take away, therefore Bitcoin has value. Therefore, whenever the global markets have sort of a, they perform poorly, or the expectations were not met, or some kind of catastrophic event happens, then the value of Bitcoin increases because people say this is a better system, this is a more dependable system. So therefore value is created. If all of a sudden all the governments in the world decide, okay, this is something that we really need to tackle, we need to work, then possibly the value would drop. Obviously, that is a very rare possibility, but I'm trying to elude the concept of how value is created. So everybody has to see their nature, everybody has to deal with it accordingly. Now, once you understand the fundamental concept of money, then there is usually two main aspects, especially for devotees to understand, is that if you want to protect money, right, you have to be sense controlled. There is no option of having unrestricted sense enjoyment and at the same time building wealth. If you see rich people, you see people who are successful, you will find that they live their life very similar to a devotee sadhana, in the sense that they wake up very early, they are very controlled in terms of what they eat, they have very fixed schedules, they're very careful of how they spend their time, they're always aware of what's happening in the market, and they're very, very up to date in terms of what's happening with their investments, where are they going, and what is the future plan. So these are just some traits of people who want to deal with money. And basically people who are successful, you will observe this, you very easily be able to see this. So that is one part of understanding, that without sense control it will not be very easy for devotees to generate wealth, because you will start spending lavishly, you will enjoy unrestrictedly, and your wealth will not develop. Yes, obviously at a certain point you can have enough money where any type of sense enjoyment is easily affordable, that comes at a certain point. But this is about understanding how to go closer to Krishna rather than just build unrestricted wealth, because the power of wealth is that it can also immediately vanquish all the good environment that you've built for your sadhana and your devotional service. So therefore you hear money is the root of all evil. Sometimes they say that. And it's very, very prominent because it affects your subtle body, which is your mind, right? And it creates a very strong sense of prestige and ego and reputation. So these are things that devotees have to be careful about, understanding that they have to manage the wealth in a better mood and manner, right? And therefore, also for generational wealth, you have to teach the future generations how to create value, how to preserve value, how to protect value, rather than saying this is the amount of money that we have and we just need to maintain it. So, as we go along with this series, The next few videos will now deal with, okay, how does the financial system work, right? How does the different concepts of working with wealth. So we're going to deal with a few major ones. That is going to be actual budgeting. We're going to deal with compounding, and we're going to deal with rule of 72. And as we go along, if there's more, we'll keep adding and showing some practical examples for devotees to understand how to do this. So I hope this is helpful, and you can share it with your devotees around. And I'm always open to any feedback for continuous improvement. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.